been a long time, hasn't it? Well, hopefully I'm back. It's been a long time due to just work being ridiculous, and we're going live soon, so hopefully afterwards I'll be much more available to do these things. However, this review is in particular because I did get some break time, and I've been doing a lot of snowboarding as of late, and the thing that I really wanted was some sort of music thing. So initially I was going to do some sort of review or something around a headphone that goes into the helmet. However, the more I did it, and especially with conditions in the Northeast with so many people in small mountains, I realized I kind of need to have my ears available, and a system that would be right in the helmet might be distracting, even though it's something that I want. So we were just going down the mountain with my friend Steph, and we came across this guy. Appropriate snowboarding music.
Oh my god.
I'm really coming out. For you. Get the broad face. For 1,000 years, I love you for 1,000.
You know the lyrics.
Of course, everybody knows the words.
Come on!
You just gotta own it.
So basically, he was the whole reason for me to look at this. And I know I've done this combination before of speaker reviews, but these are the smaller counterparts. So this is the JBL Flip 4. And this is the Fugoo Go. Both are small pocket-sized speakers that you can take everywhere. And this kind of is what I was looking for. It allowed me to hear music on the mountain while still having been well aware of my surroundings. And it wasn't so intrusive that it would, annoy everyone on the mountain. It was more for my personal bubble and personal space. So both these fit the bill really well, but which one fits better for the need that I need in terms of going snowboarding with it, or, taking on a trip. We'll figure that out shortly. Starting off with the JBL, you get a really small package that'll give you about 12 hours of battery life. It does come with a little harness strap, and the buttons are pretty clicky. You can use the play button to get a double click to go to the next track, and as normal you'll have also your power button and your Bluetooth button. Behind this really secure flap you see here, you will see your aux port as well as your power port. They will be protected because that is a difficult little section to get off, so no worries around water. On the sides of it, you will have two drivers around 40 millimeters, and they will be pushing out most of your bass, while the front end will be pushing out most of your treble, so there's good separation between the speakers. It also comes in a variety of colors for your choice. The Fugoo Go is slightly bigger, but it also has a simpler button design. That requires you to click two buttons to change tracks, so -0 to go previous and +0 to go forward. The buttons are clicky as ever, and along the side you'll see that there will also be just as responsive power and Bluetooth buttons. The front side sports two 52mm drivers, while the back end does have a larger 62mm radiator for the bass. However, this may also contribute to why the battery life is slightly worse than the JBL at 10 hours. It does come with this nifty strap that is built into the base, which is way more useful than I expected. The elasticity gave me some flexibility to attach it to different types of equipment, to a car, to my backpack, which proved to be very convenient because I could place the speaker at a higher place so I could get a better angle to listen to. That was unexpected from this. If not for the loop on the top of the Fugoo, these two speakers would basically be the same size, the Fugoo being slightly bigger. But they both kind of have the same footprint. The JBL is round, of course, so it will have a little bit wider profile. But overall, they kind of fit the same. They also both are able to stand up on their own, so you can get an angle on it so you don't have to worry about it rolling around. To give a little size comparison, here it is next to a standard Comcast controller. The JBL is pretty much controller size, while the Fugoo is slightly taller. With that little loop on the top, it did make it a little bit harder to get into the pocket because you had to bend it around to make it work. But once it was in there, it was pretty low profile and it's very unintrusive. The best part of it was I could really fall on it and I couldn't really feel anything. Plus, it didn't really look like I had a speaker in my pocket and people didn't know where it was coming from. So the low profile was extremely beneficial and it was really comfortable to have it on me. Additionally, the placement of the buttons were perfect. I could easily open my pocket and turn things on, or even adjust it to someone else's phone for a Bluetooth connection. The JBL with its smaller form factor and the lack of that loop made it much easier to adjust in pocket and just simply get it in, zip it away, and go. The controls were still easily accessible, much like it was on the Fugoo, but we'll get more into the button placement later in this review. Despite its smaller footprint, it is round, so it was a little bit hard to fall on. It was pretty obvious that I had something in my pocket, so it wasn't as sleek and low profile as the Fugoo. In terms of the buttons themselves, again, on the JBL, they're extremely clicky, but they were very flush with the device itself, so it's very hard to feel through my jacket to figure out which buttons I wanted to press. The difference on the Fugoo is that these are much more pronounced. So if you can see here, there's a larger ridge, so these were easy to identify within my pocket. I never had to take the speaker out of my pocket, which is super quick and super convenient. In terms of durability, both these can take a beating. Again, like I said, I took these snowboarding, I fell on them a bunch of times. Some of them hurt me more than others, but they are both IP67 certified, so they're able to be dust proof, they're able to be submerged without any problem. You'll notice I'll easily be able to submerge these and they'll still be playing. Just watch for the ripples. But I did notice something when I was doing this test here, that the Fugoo, when they was fully submerged, sometimes it lost Bluetooth connectivity, but when I took it out, it would come back, while the JBL was continually playing the entire time and I could see ripples throughout the whole thing. Again, I don't know if this is an isolated incident, but it was pretty consistent. In terms of their ability to float, the thing I liked a lot about the Fugoo XL was the fact that it floats. From my experiments, neither of these floated, so they're probably not the best to just like leave unattached to your body. But if you're just looking for a versatile speaker that will take some punishment and you won't have to really worry about it in most scenarios, both these pretty much fit the bill. Again, I would just double check on the Fugoo Go's reliability in terms of the Bluetooth connectivity. Other than that, they're solid. So both speakers get pretty loud. Not as loud as their bigger counterparts. However, they are still pretty solid to fill a room. So when I was on the mountain, I could max them out and still hear them pretty clearly through my jacket. Unfortunately, one did distort a little bit more, and that would be the Fugoo. So you would need to max out the volume on both just to hear it properly while you're moving down the mountain. But and they both did that pretty well, like as I mentioned before. But the Fugoo definitely distorted as you got very loud, or it had very heavy bass music. At medium or like mid levels, it was all pretty much the same, except that the Fugoo also did not have as much bass impact, while the separation of the speakers and the bass and the treble for the JBL was much more apparent, and it also just made it sound a lot better and more pleasant throughout the range of volume as well as throughout the range of genres. The sound sample that I will provide to you here will hopefully show that, but if it's not, just take my input here to help guide your decision. So I kind of think you guys know where this is going, right? We talked about the pros and cons, and there's definitely a clear winner in terms of sound. Also in terms of size. However, the need was that I needed to fit in my pocket really easily and make it really easy to access the buttons for snowboarding, or just within my pocket so I can easily change tracks and still access everything. So for a while there I was considering this. However, I could not ignore the sound of the JBL. It was significantly better and it didn't distort throughout the rides. And while it might have been a little bit more awkward in pocket, I can find some other way. I can play around with it to make it fit, like put it in a backpack, put it in my pants pocket, just to make it work better. I mean, this just sounds much better than the Fugoo Go. I would have loved for this one to be the one that sounded better or just fit the need, but I might have even picked this if the sound quality was just like a little bit similar, even if this was a little bit worse, just because it fits in the pocket so well and I could easily access the controls. I really like this thing too. Like, this provided a lot more functionality than I thought it would, but it's a lot more useful than this thing. But unfortunately, because it's in my jacket, it does need to be at high volumes, and this thing just distorted like crazy. It was super easy to use, and it was waterproof, durable, everything, but it just distorted. It wasn't pleasurable to listen to, and it just paled in comparison to the flip. So this one's going back, this one's sticking with me. But yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But anyway, I appreciate you guys sticking with me, especially after all this time. I know I've been out for a little bit, but we should have another one coming shortly. What it is, I won't tell you, just so I won't put myself on that, but there are some reviews coming. Just stay tuned. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Peace.